Hi, welcome to episode 4 of Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom with Heather and
And Rachel.
So, for week 4, we are going to discuss building a routine throughout your day for better sleep, like we talked about last week, right? Just because the self-care throughout the day sets you up for that better sleep. Right. And then full circle with that, your better sleep sets you up for the self-care through the
For
day.
a much better day. Yeah. So
Yes, perfect.
It's lovely. It's instead of a vicious cycle, we have a relaxing cycle. So
yes, I love that. Yeah. I'm going to let you open up with building the self-care routine.
All right. So to get started with that, I have to say it was a really difficult thing for me to do. So many of us have just such packed lives, and it becomes almost overwhelming then to think about how we fit something else in, even if it's something that we really, really want and we really need. To figure out where to find the time to do all of this stuff can be really overwhelming. But if you step back and take a look at your day, there are times within your day that you can really utilize to fit in something small, even that's just for you. So what I did when I was first like trying to find some time, any time for myself, was to look at my day and each day. And back then, I have to say, every day was a little bit different for me. My kids were small. There were different activities that happened on different days. So I took the time and actually went through my schedule and was like, all right, what do my Mondays look like? And I started at the beginning of my day. What time am I getting up? What am I doing when I wake up? My commute to work, what I did at my lunch break, what I did on my drive home, what I did when I got home, by the time, if I ran the kids back and forth, and what I was doing while I was maybe waiting for the kids at an activity. And there's all these little opportunities, I think, that you can find these openings within your day. Now, my kids are older, so I have a lot more free time, and it's a little easier for me because now I'm taking care of myself, the dogs, and, my husband a little bit. So I have a lot more time to focus on me. But when you've got so many other people, say you have, even if it's just you and you've got a really demanding job, it can be difficult to find that time for you. So I think the first step is to just look at your schedule. And then there's a lot of these key moments that we maybe don't think about utilizing for time for self-care. One of the simplest things to do, if you can, is to just wake up a few minutes earlier in the morning, especially if you have someone else to take care of in the morning. If you can get up and have your drink of water, go to the bathroom, wash your face and brush your teeth by yourself. And then, oh my goodness, bonus, if you could sit quietly in a quiet house and have your morning beverage, whatever that may be, like your coffee, your tea, and just sit and have that calm. That's one of the easiest ways I found to grab a little bit of time and care. And I just got done telling you the story. Like, one of the other times that I found for myself, because I could not, for the life of me, seem to find any time for myself where I wasn't exhausted. I would get up early on Saturday mornings before anybody else in the house was up, and I would go grocery shopping. And that was like the most alone time I think I had all week long when the kids were little. Yeah. I would go and I never took, and I didn't, when the whole time the kids were little, unless there was some reason, like emergency, don't take my husband shopping. Don't take my children shopping. That was my me time. I would get up early. I would buy my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I was like, just kind of slowly go through the store. I would sing all the songs that were coming across the thing. Like, yeah, just jamming out to those,
Mm-hmm.
grocery store tunes, um, taking my time, deciding what I was going to make for the week, like filling my cart, like giving, enjoying my coffee.
Right.
And I would get home, like, I wouldn't even look for help unloading anything. I would bring it all in, get it all put away, and usually have time to put on a pot of coffee before anybody got up and
Nice.
started like coming at me. And I think that like that was one of the biggest ways
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to start like finding that time for myself. And I was able to build from there, because once you start looking for something, it's amazing what you find.
Right.
And that's right. I mean, when it's so weird. So if you're not looking for something, you'll pass it by a million times and never notice. It's literally right
Right
there for
there.
you. The
Yep.
second you're like, you tell your mind, okay, we're looking for this, all of a sudden, like 10 opportunities will be noticed because you told yourself, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And your brain, doing what it does, goes, oh, we're looking for that. Oh,
Yeah.
there's 12 of those. There's 12 of these, like right over there.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the awareness piece.
yeah, it really is. And it's
Mm-hmm.
once you say, hey, I want this,
Mm-hmm.
your brain goes, oh, I know where that is.
Yes.
I got this.
Yes.
So yeah, that was a big part for me. And what about you? I mean, did you have to go looking for that
Um,
time, or
I think time is relative.
yeah.
So, and the reason why, like, I think that how I found time for anything is implementing boundaries.
Okay.
And so for me, because I've had the very demanding job, that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on call, and things of that nature, plus running my own business, teaching yoga, the whole 9 yards of all that. I don't think I've ever not had 2 to 3 jobs at a time. And so, but for me, the boundary piece in the jobs, in the home life, in just everyday life with everything, the boundary piece has given me time, right? Um, and so I make sure that I know my boundaries, and other people do as well. And so that's given me time. The one thing I really like, that I was really conscious about, was moving very far from my job. And that gave me drive time there and drive time home. And so that was a really good time to either be in the car with no music on whatsoever, listen
Mm-hmm.
to a podcast or a book, or I'm up to probably listening to about 5 books a week.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Because of my drive to work and home. And then, I just drive a lot. Um, so I think that, you know, when you are aware, when you bring everything back to being present and aware, like you said, your brain now starts processing that and gives you those moments. Your brain's like, oh, you have time here, or and you consciously know that you have time. There's times when you have time and
Right.
you're not conscious of it, right? You're just like, I have no time.
Oh,
And it's like,
absolutely. Yeah, you're just going through the motions, and it's
yes,
just like,
yes. But if you go through your day consciously, I when I did work, my other job full time before I retired, um, I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would
yeah,
get up
I
at three
remember
o'clock.
that.
Yeah,
Oof.
but I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning so I could meditate before work. And so meditating in the car is not a good idea. Don't do that. Um,
No, but here's the thing. Yes, you absolutely should not meditate in the car, but I have used the car for like to be mindful, and I
Yes.
have listened
Yep.
to like if you're going to like hardcore meditate, dude, I have listened to like meditations in the car, but just kind of like I would background music because it put me in a calmer state of mind. Like I wasn't clearly you want to be paying attention to everything that is going on around you while you're driving. But I have used meditations to get myself into a calmer state while driving.
Right. Now,
does that make sense? I don't want anyone getting into accidents because of this.
Yeah. But when I used to commute via bus, because I used to my other job early on in my career, I used to take 2 buses, and I would definitely meditate on the bus.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I know both my kids take the train a lot.
Yes.
They commute into the city or back and forth from home or like across the city. So they're on the trains. So they have that time. I know, even just putting together like a really great playlist to kind of set your mood. Again, meditations, you can just, that's all that time. Like if you're commuting and you've got a bus ride or you've got a train ride, you can really utilize that time to do so many just little things for yourself.
Right. And then there is a book called Finding Your Joy, where it's the name escapes me, and I read it a long, long time ago. But he talks about 3-minute meditations, and I practice those very much throughout my day. So right before I get out of the car, I'll do like a mini meditation. If the day is stressful, I'll step away, go for a little bit of a jaunt, go for a little bit of a walk and do like a mini meditation. So I think bringing everything back to awareness, like consciousness, like washing your hair, brushing your teeth, those are like super, for me, just being in tuned with what you're doing on a daily creates that time, creates that self-care, creates that love and compassion for what you're doing. Going back to the very first episode that we did, for me, everything that I do has to be purposeful. I have to get my mind straight because I believe so much in energetic, a vibration, energy force that if I am not in a good mental state, if I'm not in a good space, I don't create. I don't cook. Because I believe that negative energy gets put into whatever I'm doing. So
okay, it could. I mean, then on the flip side of that, I'm just going to take that. So I'm like, sometimes I will take that though and turn it into something else. So I'm like, all right, so maybe not cooking, but I notice sometimes when I've got that, I need to get that energy out. So if I take it and I will with that, sometimes I'll write. And I'll just start writing. And sometimes I will throw that away. So I will create sometimes when I'm feeling that way. And sometimes I actually end up creating, once I get all the garbage out of the way.
Yes.
Sometimes I actually end up creating something really great. So I'll just write like random stuff. Like dirt is messy, and then just whatever. Because like say I'm mad, right? And I've had a bad day and the dogs are outside and it's wet and muddy and they come in and now there's mud all over my floor. So I'm angry about dirt. So you just, anything, right? Dogs brought dirt into the house is dirty. I hate bananas. Like what? And then you just start going, and then this happened and that happened. And, I was thinking about this and I started to breathe slowly and easily. And then you start creating this whole thing.
Right.
And it ends up being like, and you read it back and you're like, wow, that was like super insightful. And like, I'm going to use this for my next blog or whatever, just because the dogs tracked mud into the house. And I'm like, now I have this lovely piece of
Right.
of art,
Yeah.
yay, like I have something to share.
Yeah.
But so sometimes you can put a nice spin on that and use
Mhm.
that energy and make it then something that's
Right. Right. I'm
not so
talking
angry.
about I'm talking about creating something for somebody else. What we're talking about is journaling. I built a gratitude journal, and the thing about the gratitude journal that I built has kind of how we get back to gratitude, and then it has prompts in it. And so, but you can build your own, right? And so you can really just grab a spiral notebook and just start just with, when I first started on this journey, my two things that I wrote down every night before I went to bed was who has inspired me? How was I inspired today? Not necessarily who, but how was I inspired today? And then the other thing was, who have I inspired today? And it makes you think all the people that you've come in contact with, all the things that you've done, and it makes you connect dots throughout your life, because you can do something that is not necessarily for somebody else, but in the long run, it does benefit somebody else, right?
Right. Yeah, it affects
And
them.
so it makes your brain think um, on a bigger scale of that domino effect on how, when we are looking to inspire, be inspired, live consciously, it gives us that tool, almost like that muscle memory in our brain,
Yeah.
that we are consciously thinking, I am going to leave here making things better than when I showed up. And so that's like my goal every day. My goal every day is, every time I go through a day, which that's kind of my self care, I guess, is everything that I do has to be better. Like, the only person I'm trying to um, outdo is me.
It, and yeah, you just want to be better than you were yesterday, and
Yeah,
that
or this
is
morning.
yeah, or 5 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
All
Um,
right.
and knowing that my best in the morning is different than my best at night, and my best today is different than my best tomorrow.
And absolutely. And I think that's something like a lot of us hold ourselves up to like ridiculous standards. Like you're not going to be the same every day. So if you are, you ran 5 miles yesterday, you may
Mm-hmm.
only run 3 miles today if you run.
Right.
I don't run. That is not something I do, but that's
If
fine,
she's
and
if
you don't
she's
have to
running, you
run
better
five
run
miles
too.
every single day. Yes, because there's something behind me that should not be. Um, I really like that though. I mean, really, that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to be your best in that moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, so, but I have developed over the years, like, I have really tried to like nurture and cultivate the best self care routines that I possibly can to keep myself healthy and feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really, and it's tough for some people to do this. So I want to try to give you a little bit of a guideline, so that you're taking something away from the episode. Look at your time. What can you do? What are you already doing? And how can you maybe just enhance that little bit? So if your morning routine is, just a basic wash your face, brush your teeth, comb your hair, get dressed, what little thing can you add to that? And it doesn't have to be anything much. It could be like, okay, maybe, you make sure that you're flossing, using mouthwash, and then even like just gargling. So those three things right there is maybe adding an additional 5 minutes to your morning, but it'll help your hygiene. It'll help, it'll help you have fresh breath. Maybe you feel a little bit like less self-conscious then. And the gargling, which is, I love this. So gargling is one of those things that stimulates the vagus nerve. and it can really have a positive effect on how you're feeling that day. But it also helps kind of clear everything out. So if you wake up in the morning and you're a little congested, you clear your throat a lot, or you just kind of feel puffy, just taking like like mouthwash or even just warm water and swishing it around basically pulls all of this out and just kind of helps flush your system in the morning. So it's just like, so anything that's kind of stuck in there starts moving around a little bit in the morning. So it kind of gets your body moving a little bit. It can help your flow. Then there's other little things that you can, add to your day. A little bit of skincare. Don't need much more sometimes than a little bit of moisturizer with a sunblock in it. What's that going to add? Maybe a minute? I mean, honestly, like, so your face is washed and now you're just going to grab your moisturizer, like your AM moisturizer with your sunblock. So there you go. You're helping protecting yourself from the sun. You're moisturized. You added like one other small thing to your morning schedule. And for me, for some reason, like the morning, I'm the most energized. So it's easier for me to add things into the morning. And if I get up 5 minutes earlier, then that's like, instead of me leaving and getting to work 5 minutes earlier, that's usually 5 minutes I have to like add something to my routine. Like I'll spend like 5 more minutes on my makeup, or I'll spend 5 more minutes drinking my coffee. I like to, when I first wake up in the morning, think about all the things that I'm grateful for. So even if it's just a quick, like I get up in the morning, I sit up in bed, try to kind of keep myself in that like alpha brainwave state and just think about, set my intention for the day. And think about all the things that I am grateful for that day, the things that I have to look forward to that day, and what I can get accomplished that day. And I can usually get up, and I am like very routine driven. So I get up, I make my coffee, I have a drink of water, I run to the bathroom, try to take care of any basic needs before the dogs start barking because I'm going to have to, my husband's still asleep at this point. So let the dogs out. I can usually like sit quietly with my coffee before I start like my whole, grooming and self-care and hygiene. It's on from there. So I take care, like I have my whole morning system. Then, I move on to the work part of my day. And then even within the work part of my day, I still have implemented self-care. I make sure that I have a good lunch with me every day. And I make sure that I take the time to take my lunch break.
What is your suggestion on where to start, right? If you want to start cultivating that routine and build it up, how can you suggest or help or advise for somebody like me that doesn't, no.
So I honestly, if there's anything, there's some parts in your day that have to be like closer to regular. And if there's not, where could you make them a little bit more regular? So could you wake up at the same time every day? And I know that you already said like you were waking up at 3 a.m. so that you could put in that meditation.
Right.
So if you want to start something and you know what you want to start, that's helpful right there. So if you have something that you want to do, that you want to add into your day, you want to add in a meditation, you want to add in an exercise program, you want to find time to read a book, like, and we'll just start at these 3 things. So, okay. So if you want to start some sort of practice, exercise, meditation, whatever, you've got that one thing you want to do. So now you're going to look for parts of your day where that would fit. So wherever in your day you think you can squeeze in that 5 minutes for meditation, 5 minutes of exercise, even 5 minutes to go for a walk. Go through your day and pinpoint all of the places where you can do that. And then take the first opportunity you get to actually take action for it. So even if you're not doing it the same time each day, the first step is literally to target those points in your day where it's possible. Now, you may have to rearrange a few things. You may have to change stuff, and that's where those boundaries come in. Okay, well, normally I go to lunch with so and so, but that's the spot. Like, there's the time that I have to meditate, because I get an hour for lunch and I need to eat, but then I have like, I'm going to have at least 20 minutes left. So with that 20 minutes, like, I could do a meditation. I could maybe go for a walk. Maybe I could do a walking meditation, you know, and you've got extra things in there. Or maybe time for like a quick like yoga flow just to open up, right? You're at work all day, and or just simple stretching, right? You need to open up. You've been sitting at your desk like this all day. If you have any extra time at lunch, even if you only get a quick break and you've got 5 minutes, like, okay, you've pinpointed, like, here's extra time. Even though I normally do this at this time, I don't have to do that. And I can move, you know, I could move this in here. Or here's like the time that I'm spending, you know, doing extra work at home, or, you know, your commute, right? And you want to spend extra time reading audiobooks. Right. So it's literally just looking, like, you're going to tell your brain, all right, this is what we want to do. Let's find every opportunity we have in the day to do this. And when you actually then act on that, now you're reinforcing that, and your brain is going, oh, okay, well, this is for real. And then it will keep cultivating that for you. So you'll keep finding more and more ways and more opportunities to implement that. But you do have to take those steps, and you should always take that little bit of action, even if it's small, like even if it's 5 minutes of whatever it is you want to do for yourself. Actually act on that. And then your brain's going to go, oh, okay. And it's just going to keep giving you more of that, because it knows that that's what you're looking for. That's like, our brains are designed to do that. So it's going to give you that gift.
So I've heard and I've read somewhere that it takes 28 times before something becomes a habit.
Yeah, I heard like 21 days to like create a habit.
Right. And so for me, I'm going to go back to, you know, I love the, you know, first write down what you want to add, right? First, put down on paper, make it tangible so you can see it. What you want to add. What are the things that are important to you that you possibly want to change, right? Second, be conscious as you go through your day, be super conscious as you go through your day, and understand that there are moments that we go through in autopilot or unconscious or whatever you want to call it, that there are places where we can plug things in, right?
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't have to be the same time every day. It doesn't have to be, you know, my routine of driving to work, driving home might happen at a different time every day because of my work schedule. But the reality is it's the same environment, right?
Absolutely.
Same environment of driving.
The time, right? So you're driving from point A to point B. So there's that opportunity to utilize that driving time, even though that time varies.
Right. And so, so we said, go baby steps, right? You're not going to change the world in a day.
Absolutely.
And when you change everything all at once, it becomes overwhelming. And that's where we are like, this is too much for me. I can't do it. We're just going back to whatever, right? Absolutely. Being mindful when you do your self-care routine, whatever your self-care routine is that you have right now, cultivate mindfulness, cultivate being in the moment of doing what you're doing, and try not to be distracted while you're doing it. When you talked about shopping, you were not distracted. You were just going through leisurely. You could enjoy your time. You could make things enjoyable, even if they're not enjoyable tasks.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
By, you know, setting the boundary, being mindful. I just want to make sure that we're breaking it down to, first, you have to figure out what you want to change. Secondly,
absolutely,
you have to be mindful through your day to see where you can make a change, if you even have to make a change. Because sometimes you wind up being super mindful and you're like, wait, I'm already doing this.
Yeah, no, and that's good. And but so, and then just give, and when you notice those things, anything you notice, like give yourself credit for it. Like always celebrate those small wins. And then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm already doing this. So then then check in with yourself. It's
Right.
always great because so you create these things, right? And then you find a new flow
Right.
as they go. So you constantly want to keep checking in and make sure that you're aware, because sometimes there's something else that you want or you need, and then it's time to reassess. And that's the thing, like, so we're not like, everything's not the same, everything's constantly changing. And
Right.
so are our needs. So you constantly want to be kind of doing that little self check-in. So I found something I wanted to add in. This has definitely been an enhancement. It's improved how I feel about myself, how
Mhm.
I look, like whatever.
Mhm.
Great. So I did that, and I'm going to keep doing that. Now, well, what else can I do? Where else can I add in, or where else can I take away?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's
I think
a
that's
great,
also a big factor. So,
right. That's a great point. Things that are not serving you, right? Things that you're doing
yeah,
daily, weekly, whatever, that don't serve you, that you do because now they are your habit.
I'd say constantly reassessing is super helpful. But yeah, just look for those little things. Start with the smallest steps you possibly can. Add it in.
Hmm.
When you're aware, it'll be easier to just keep putting that in there each day. As that becomes habit, like you develop, you go on for a while, you stop, you reassess, you add something else in, or then take something away, that and then make sure that it feels good for you, like whatever you are doing. Like
Right.
maybe that, which is I think is also important, because maybe you're putting in, you wanted to exercise because you just felt like you wanted to look better, not entirely to feel better, or you thought like this kind of exercise would be great for you, but you're lifting heavy weights, or you're spending a long time running on the treadmill, and that's not what's right for you. So maybe
Hmm.
you try something else. Like, so maybe instead of that, like maybe you try yoga or Pilates, or
Hmm.
just working out in smaller increments, like
Right.
15 minutes at a day with really light weight. You keep trying different things until you find what feels good for you,
Right. Yeah.
because you deserve that. And
Set
that's
the
the self-care
time.
part. Yeah.
Right. So set the time, and you don't necessarily have to do the same thing every day,
Right.
but if you set the time, you can plug different things in and change it up, right?
Absolutely. And that's your you time. So you do what serves you. How you bullet pointed that. And
Yeah.
I think maybe if we kind keep a running format of this stuff,
Mhm.
and post this information somewhere, like once we've figured out our little steps here, then maybe we can we can post this, and then it'll make it a little easier to follow.
Well, and I can really, I talked about how I'm not really, we're neither one of us are technology savvy. Let's just be
Yeah,
honest,
no.
right?
No.
And so in all reality, I'm doing the best I can, but the realness of it is I will do my best to put the bullet points at the bottom of the episode in the
Great. Yes.
description.
I think that'll be very helpful, because then if that's something that, you guys can utilize, that's that's what we want. Like, we want
Hmm.
to be able to give you something that's useful to you.
Do you have anything on your YouTube channel or your website where you are building a routine or anything like that? Or do you have anything like that coming up?
Yes. So I am currently working on exercise for a better night's sleep. And it's not just physical exercises, it's basically like daily practices and things that you can do each day to get a better night's sleep. And within that, we're looking at your daily schedule,
Hmm.
and where you might be able to add in exercises, meditations, helpful habits, setting up like a bedtime, nighttime hygiene routine.
Hmm.
And that's what I have coming out first. I have in the works, like over the course of time, morning routine,
Okay, so
and things throughout the day.
I'm
So
gonna challenge you right now, right
okay.
now, right here, recording. I'm challenging
Uh,
you.
okay. I am now held accountable, people.
When will it be released?
Okay. So I have to find a platform to have it released, but the plan is to have it at least all ready by like February. I'm gonna say 15th. Like I'm gonna just go for like
Woo!
mid-February. I
February
have like
15th.
yes, I have like it's there. Like I have the information.
Okay.
I literally just need to get it all put together and get the platform to get it out there.
Awesome.
So
She's as red as her shirt.
you're all my witnesses. So I said it. Now I got to get it done. Gotta get
Yes,
it
you
done.
do. You do. You do.
All right.
And it's going to be amazing. So
Yes.
until next time.
All right. So I really hope you found this information useful. What I would like you guys to do is to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and please leave comments. Kind ones, hopefully. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear what you think. We'd love to hear what you'd love to hear from us. So leave us that info and come join us again next Friday and every Friday here
Yes.
on Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom with Heather and Rachel.
Bye.